of the recruiting gym. And this morning I've got Kasia Tang. Good morning, Kasia. How are you this
Good
morning?
morning. Good morning. Great to be here. Although, like I said, it's very dark, so this is a great way to wake up.
So let everyone know, whereabouts are you calling in from?
I'm in the Polish mountains. I think everyone knows Tatras. I'm in the other ones, but it's still very, very cold. We have very long, very cold winters with minus 20 degrees. I was like we were just chatting that happened 4 weeks ago. We're still recovering.
I must admit, we're not made for the cold here in the UK either, but Polish mountains, it sounds idyllic. It sounds beautiful. So I hope that it is. So, Book Week is all about talking to authors of books, finding out more about them, delving into it. Do say good morning if you're here on Crowdcast. If you're over on LinkedIn, use the chat there as well. Charlotte will be monitoring that and sending your comments over here. Vanessa's saying good morning. Good to see you both. It's too cold for her as well. She's I must admit, I'm not a cold person. I do like the sunshine. So let's get into your book then. So this is Super Sauce Me,
Yes.
which is it playing on the word of supersize me? Was that where it came from?
Yes, that was definitely where it came from. We played around a little bit with what we wanted to call our business with my business partner. We had actually worked together previously, and so we had a moment to figure things out when we launched the new brand. And the book was just called the same. It kind of made sense to us. And also for marketing purposes, you know what? It was really good because people look for Super Source Me. They find the website for the business as well.
Yeah, well, we'll show that when we talk about the last question. But certainly, as soon as I said it, I was sort of linked in, and it made sense, and I was there with you. So, what made you write the book in the first place?
So it's an interesting story because I was actually approached by a Polish publisher that's known for professional publications, and I believe they offered me a crazy amount of almost £200 to write a book. And that's when I first started thinking about it. And when I met my current business partner, she has a great approach because she said, you know what, you're going to put in months of work and you're going to be very frustrated if you do that. So if you're going to write a book, why don't we do this ourselves? Why don't we publish it? And so she was really the catalyst. But the idea generally came from how few recruiting books talk about sourcing. And in Poland, I know in the UK there's a lot of sourcing specialists, right? But in Poland, we typically just have sourcing recruiters. So they have to do all of their own sourcing. And books about recruitment either don't cover it at all, or they are really complicated. So I know there's Full Stack Recruiter, which you will probably know if you've looked into publications about sourcing. And it's a great book, super comprehensive, but people in Poland tend to buy it and then not read it because they realize very soon that they don't understand exactly what's going on. And it's a very intimidating big book with a lot of text in it. So we wanted to go a completely different direction, and we felt this is actually something that's needed that has not been done yet.
Well, that makes sense now, because let me bring it up now. The Super Sauce Me, we've got the link in there for you to go and buy it. You've got the pink version if you are Polish. Am I right? That's the
Exactly.
in Polish, but we've got the English version here, and I'm just going to zoom in because you're right. As soon as you see it, you think more of a simpler book, maybe a children's book. Am I being negative there, calling it that?
No. I loved being a student, you know, and I have these very fond memories of workbooks at school when you would open it and it was just something that was really fun. And I think back then learning seemed fun. It can become very intimidating in the professional space, I think, but it doesn't have to be. So this is not just the cover of the book. The fish are characters that are present throughout the book. We had so much fun playing around with them. You have the little crab that's encouraging you to come out of your shell. And there's drawings in the book because that's how we teach Boolean with coloring. So it's not just the cover, but the whole learning process is supposed to be made fun, and you're supposed to have that feeling of yeah, like a new school year, that excitement, lots of possibilities. If you are able to feel that way about sourcing, I'm sure you're going to get success.
I'm seeing so much more in this now that I've been zoomed in. So we've got a chef over here, we've got a
Yes.
photographer at the top, we've got a medical person there. That's that construction with the yellow hard hat on. With the fish,
Yeah.
business person. So maybe that's a satchel. Maybe that's someone from
Mhm.
school. What's this though? I don't get that one.
Oh, it's supposed to be a suit. It's very hard on a fish, isn't it?
Oh, I can see it. Yes, if you turn the fish sideways, he's in a suit. I can see it now. It's in front there. Brilliant, love it. So characters as well to make the learning easier can make it a huge difference. Okay, so that was easy, but I know writing a book is hard. So what was the hardest bit to actually get it completed and over the line with your partner?
So I think because we worked on it together, we had very different expectations, and we were just talking with my partner about when she thought the book was finished, basically. And we had a meeting, and I came and I knew that this wasn't going to be a great meeting because I came saying the book isn't nowhere near ready. We can't send that to we can't have that published yet because it was all theory. And and at that point, I thought, no, it really has to be very practical. It has to have that feel of a school workbook. And so my business partner was in charge of coming up with all the exercises because she's a certified trainer. So she knew how to basically how to create them so that they strengthen the lessons in there. But then it turned out we have to go back and review all of the theoretical parts to match the exercises even better. I'm very happy that we went through that because it took another couple of months when she thought the book was basically finished. So that was hard, but I think it was definitely worthwhile.
That's a big learning thing. It's a bit like us when we're creating training. You do all the planning before you even get started with the writing. You identify what's going to be in there. Then you look at the exercises and the
Yeah.
things going to bring it to life because you're exactly the same with that. If you dive in and you think you've done it and then you go back and try and do the exercises, you've got to relate it against everything and make sure that it works. And that's really tough. So well done, because I know there will be some people at some point that will be like, oh, for goodness sake. They might have given up. But perseverance is a key thing for a saucer, isn't it? You got to
Yeah.
stick with it to get through that. That's brilliant. Okay, so if people are going to purchase this, one, you've got a special offer for people joining the Recruiting Gym and the Daily Workout today. So what's that?
Yes. So with the code Book Week, you can get the PDF version for just 66% of the price. So that's going to be 30 euros. And I do recommend the PDF because unfortunately shipping is, we discovered that was the most difficult thing, but that's once the book was ready. So shipping anywhere outside of Poland has proven tricky, and especially in the UK. I
Well, we
think.
have the unenviable stat of 1 in 7 pieces of mail go missing. Which is
Yes,
really not helpful, is it?
we found that for our business, it was 1 in 4,
Oh my
which is incredible. And this is why we came up with a PDF version. We're very happy with it because it is still practical. And basically, the book, I've heard people mention the price, and it is a high price. I won't, I will definitely agree with that. But it's basically the entire training program that we go through in our training sessions with recruiters. So we strongly believe this is everything you need when you're starting to work in recruitment. But also, if you've already worked in recruitment, but you feel like the sourcing bit has never been the main focus, we start with the basics. And very often we get, people joke about how basic it can be, but we really start with What's a web browser? Why does it matter what web browser you choose? What's a search engine?
Well,
You
even
know,
that, why it matters what you choose. People wouldn't have even thought of that. So although you say it's
exactly.
basic, yeah, we might know what a web browser is, and there'll be people that go, web browser, what is that? That one? And yeah, okay, we get it. But why are you using this one over that one? No, we definitely don't think about that.
Exactly. And I feel like, you know, if you talk to sourcers or go to sourcing conferences, everyone sort of assumes you're supposed to know that, right? And everyone talks to you like it's this very complicated thing. I don't believe that. I've never been the most technical sourcer, I admit, but I think if you're a recruiter, you're probably not going to get there. You know, it's not about trying to hack anything, but it is about understanding the basics. So we do start with the absolute basics, and if you don't know anything, you're going to find it there. But then we get to some of the more advanced things. So how do you use X-ray search? How do you actually structure your searches? Iterative search. So that is something that's quite complicated, I would think, already. And we see that when we're working with recruiters. But if you start from the very basics, we also see that some people get there intuitively. They just see it happening all of a sudden. And it's funny because I actually have this I wanted to show you, because we start with actual coloring.
With the Venn diagrams, yes.
Yes, exactly. So that's how we learn Boolean.
Yeah.
And people often feel like, oh, but this isn't, I mean, this has nothing to do with the search. But it's not about the technical details. It is about the mindset. And you just have to learn how to think in sourcing terms. We thought it doesn't have to be that complicated. So really, you're getting everything from LinkedIn through sourcing techniques to discussing the sourcing process and how do you actually implement that if you've got a recruiting process that's already built up.
That's fantastic. And like you say, our training courses start at £30, and you're €30, so that's even cheaper than that. So to learn sourcing for that, as long as you're going to read it, as long as you're going to put it into practice, but everything's in there for you to follow that through, then yeah, that's a real bargain. So any sources out there, click on the link to take you to the page. Are you able to share the code so that
Yes.
people can
Yes. So,
today?
exactly right. So the code is book week. Let me write that down here. And that is for the PDF version. So please make sure to choose the PDF version because we are struggling with shipping, you know. So if you want more books, we can certainly look into it and find a way. But I think this is the best way for individuals. There's plenty of room for notes as well. So it really becomes like this sort of a sourcing memoir, you know. So it represents your entire learning journey, and hopefully you find that useful. One last thing I will say for the PDF version, I really recommend that also for another reason. It's really hard to write a book about sourcing because you can't click on things. And the PDF really makes that easier. So you can just copy and paste if you see a search string that you want to give a go, or you can just click on links when you see links for tools, etc.
Yes, that's so actually more interactive on the PDF than the book anyway. And another reason why that, don't rely on the postage. Vanessa's in South Africa. She's saying actually she's more like the other way around. They get 1 in 7 items rather than the one getting missing. Yeah. So unfortunately, we can't rely on it anymore, but more interactive via the PDF. So that's great. So use Book Week and you'll get a discount. So what are people going to get out of this book then if they click on those links and purchase it?
Right. So for the people who just start their sourcing journey, this is really going to get you through those initial exercises that you need to become fluent in sourcing. And I think for those who are a little bit more experienced, what the feedback we keep hearing is because it goes through the very basics, people finally understand why they're getting certain results when running a certain search. And it's more than that as well, because we also talk about how to build trust online. That is super important. And we see even LinkedIn with the verified accounts now is trying to do more to help us. you know, we often get this advice, just be human, be yourself in recruiting. And I think we tried to make sure to go into detail. What does that actually mean to be yourself, for it to actually serve a business purpose? So even for people who don't like social media, don't worry, because you're going to find tips on how to still make the most of it for work.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like you say, it's everything that a sourcer needs, right from the beginning to even if your experience, there'll be things in there for you. Love the fact that you've got characters through the book. It makes it brings it to life, literally. And being a visual, having the diagrams and everything. I must admit, I started the Britney Spears book recently, and I'm
Mhm.
straight away flick through. Where's the pictures? You know, usually the bit in the middle that's got the fantastic. And there's none in there. I was like, oh, come on.
It's, you know, it's such a silly thing to think adults don't need pictures in their books. We can have nice looking books as well, and we want books that stand out on the shelf. You know, all of the books, I don't know about the UK, but in Poland, all of the professional books are currently yellow and black, and they all look the same on your bookshelf, and you don't know which one you're actually trying to grab right there. So I think it just makes it more fun. It's okay. We can be adults, but it doesn't mean we have to be very serious.
I blame the dummy books for that. And when you were talking, I immediately thought sourcing for dummies when you said that initial bit. And of course, it took off so much. It makes sense that people
Mm.
on yellow and black, because it was always the blue that you've got behind
Yeah.
you. It was more a navy blue or royal blue. So I'm glad you've got the pink and the blue, the light blue. It definitely does stand out. So thank you, Kasia. Hopefully we'll get to see you again here in the recruiting dim, because you've obviously got lots of information to share, and really appreciate you sharing that on Book Week. We'll be back tomorrow. So we've got, oh, it's Jane Barrett I've got in my head, and I should have looked beforehand. So if it's not, apologies. Do it from there. We've got a bit of a special on Friday, because it's not a recruitment book. It's Keanu Reeves Is Not in Love with You. It's a book that comes out tomorrow. So we'll be talking to the author on Friday, Becky Holmes, who I've been following for three years or so since lockdown. She's hilarious. Love her. So we'll be having her on Friday. Right. See you tomorrow morning, everyone. Bye-bye.